Hello, and welcome to my presentation, Connor McDonald Has an Apiary. In this presentation, we'll look through Connor's lens into the world of beekeeping. We'll learn about him, his opinion and experience with problems facing beekeeping, and if he believes beekeeping is still worth pursuing despite its difficulties. So who is Connor McDonald? In this section, we'll talk about Connor's background and what he does as a beekeeper. Connor was the person who introduced me to beekeeping when I visited his family's farm a few years back. I was curious how he got into it. He's been keeping bees for about 7 years after a chance encounter at an estate sale. He was looking at used hives at the sale when people there took notice. They mentioned how the Northeastern Kansas Beekeepers Association had scholarships available that included hive equipment and a mentor, and Connor went for it. I think we could take a page from Connor's book, finding and using the invaluable local resources that might be available to us. In his 7 years as a beekeeper, he has worked as a sideliner for most of that time. He makes money from selling his honey with other goods produced by the family small farm, Whispering Elm Farm. Biodiversity is very important to the family as they produce elderberries and many other herbs. Connor is able to sell his honey as is, and he is also able to use the produce from the farm to make value-added products. Here's a picture of his honey next to their elderberry syrup that they make with his honey. With a great amount of time Connor has kept bees, he has experienced many of the current issues facing beekeeping, and in this section we'll look at these issues through his own perspective. Firstly, we have the issue of our country that continues down the road of monoculture. Like humans, bees need a variety of sources to get all their vital nutrients. This can be difficult for bees to do when 442 million acres in the US are monocropped, leading to weakened hives. However, the McDonald's oppose the monoculture standard in our society, boasting 100 to 150 different plant varieties on their farm alone. It also helps Connor's bees that he is near wildlands with plenty of forage. Now, his bees may have lots of food, but Connor is still concerned for our country as it continues along this path. Feels that the bees can only survive so long on a single source of forage, and they won't be able to thrive without a diverse source of food. This is why we'll continue to see struggles until our country can break out of this chain of monoculture. Next, there's the overuse of pesticides in our country. Neonicotinoids have especially become a recent controversy in beekeeping, and studies have now shown the negative impacts they can have on hive populations. Before the studies confirm this, there are some countries that would claim that they're okay and they would keep them, and other countries were banning them. However, Connor and his other local beekeepers quickly noticed the negative impacts on their own hives. To manage the buildup from these pesticides and other pesticides, Connor's main method is to swap out his comb. That's really all he can do since he can't control where his bees travel. For this reason, he's worried about pesticide use in the US. He believes that bees can only take so much. Even though there are challenges in growing an organic farm, the McDonald's stand by their own standards. They avoid all pesticide use on their own farm. Finally, there's the infamous varroa mite, the last issue we talked about. It is considered the greatest threat facing American honeybee hives, as the parasites harm the bees and transmit diseases. Connor feels you must manage your hives, otherwise this issue will spiral out of control. His current form of management is the vaporized oxalic acid he uses as a miticide. The main concern of chemical treatments is that these mites will develop resistance to the chemicals, so Connor believes the true future of varroa treatment is in genetic selection, finding bees that can defend themselves from mites instead of needing chemicals to help them along. With all these challenges, you wonder if it is even worth it to keep bees. So we'll explore why Connor believes beekeeping is still worth the time and the effort. There's a lot of good keepers out there. It's such a simple quote from Connor, but his optimism stood out to me. It was just this trust that with the knowledgeable people in beekeeping, these difficulties will be overcome. Sometimes we get caught up in these challenges, but as a community, we can work through them. It's pretty clear. Connor is not fazed by the issues that face beekeeping. He enjoys being able to meet and discuss the problems and solutions with local beekeepers. He loves learning about bees from research and from his mentors. They're simply fascinating creatures to him, and he takes every opportunity to learn about this unique livestock. That's his words, not mine. He just loves learning about this, as he puts it, this unique livestock. Now, Connor is in beekeeping for the long run. He's already bought the hives, and it's not like he can just drop out of it. But he still thinks people should continue to join it as well. He encourages those who have not yet started hives to get involved in the world of bees, even convincing me to raise a hive. That's the whole reason I even took this class. I talked to him those few years ago, and something about beekeeping just intrigued me. And to him, the more responsible beekeepers, the better off everyone will be. He believes it'll take small apiaries working together to get America past these issues. In conclusion, I had a great interview with Connor. He's passionate about what he does, and he's a great source of information. While I might not be able to present his fervor as efficiently as he can, I can say that he's made a future keeper out of me, and I look forward to diving into the world of beekeeping and working with the community to overcome the challenges mentioned. Maybe Connor also opened your mind to what there is to discover. Thank you.